Following his successful title defense against Ciampa last week, Bobby Lashley was back to defend the United States Heavyweight Championship against the phenomenal AJ Styles. Riddle made an appearance to address his future in an interview, and the women's tag title tournament continued when Alexa Bliss and Asuka took on Nikki ASH and Doudrop. We also got some follow-up on the chaotic ending to last week's show when Dexter Lumis seemingly returned at the show's end. Let's take a look at everything that happened on this edition of Monday Night Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Today, I am your host, Anthony Florio. Joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom Michael Bullock. Of course, Bullock and I coming off another one of our legendary Raw chats, and did we have some fun tonight. And let me tell you something, folks. Usually, we don't gush over promo segments on these shows much. But tonight, are we going to gush over our promo segment? Just you wait. But first, we started with a promo segment, but this is not the segment we're talking about. Started it off, it was an in-ring segment, it was the Judgment Day, and it was interrupted by Rey Mysterio, and that's really all there was. I'll tell you what, it was a solid heat segment for the Judgment Day, heading into the big match next week in Toronto, which will feature Edge versus Damian Priest. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up being the female wrestler who will counter Rhea Ripley. Beth Phoenix is an obvious candidate if she's interested in returning, as it would be very tough to buy Aaliyah Mysterio in that role. Let's be realistic, but it keeps the feud alive, but WWE only has so much life left that they can squeeze out of this storyline. Either Dominic needs to turn on his dad, or they need to move on from Judgment Day soon. So, we're not going to really dive too far into that. So, I think we can bypass that. So we'll get into our first match of the night, which was the third first-round match in the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. Alexa Bliss and Asuka, with a very special guest in their corner, the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. They went up against Nikki ASH and Doudrop. And Alexa Bliss and Asuka win the match in an even 9 minutes. So Alexa and Asuka advance, and they will now meet Dakota Kai and Io Sky next Monday night on Raw in the semifinal match. And the winner of that match will go to the finals of the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. Good showcase for all four women, but it also probably reminded a few people how much better Nikki is than she has been allowed to show. May not have been a Matt Classic, but the crowd seemed into it, and the right team won. Not much to complain about in that one. And it's the most energized Nikki has looked in a long time. Getting some real time in the ring will do wonders for a superstar's mentality. And it was nice to see Bianca Belair with Asuka and Alexa Bliss, since they have formed an alliance to battle Bayley's new group. Storytelling consistency, or as we call it, storyline progression, adds a lot. I'll give this about 3 stars for the effort, so not much more to say. MF, no surprise with the outcome, but next week, the semifinal matchup we wanted, Bliss and Asuka against Dakota and Io. Let's go.
Yeah, this is going to be a very enjoyable matchup. And the thing is that so far, this entire tournament has been very chalk. The people that we expected to go through have gone through. It's been very predictable. It's been very easy, even though the matches have been very good, almost above par to any other tournament that the women have done up to this point. WWE has made an emphasis and a very valid, unique point here to show and establish the women's division as the premier division in all of professional wrestling. Note the words I just said. Professional wrestling, not sports entertainment. That's the key here. And that is the one thing that even Triple H, Stephanie, and Nick Khan is trying to do, is that they want to establish this as a premier wrestling organization. Vince McMahon and his crew were all about sports entertainment. You can tell there's a major difference. And the emphasis in the women's division, especially this tag team tournament, shows you what they can do given the necessary time and the work ethic and everything else. And it's been proven that it works. It's amazing. So, yes, 3 stars, solid match. And I cannot wait for the next round. So, Michael Bullock is yours.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, so far, I mean, in this tournament, like you said, I mean, it's been predictable. But the thing is, the matches here, I mean, they've been over par, and it's a huge difference. It's like you said, Fletch, with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Nick Khan, and Mr. McMagma and his cronies were all about sports entertainment. These 3 here are all about professional wrestling. So, yeah, I'll give it 3 stars. I mean, it's a solid match. I mean, now I cannot wait for this showdown next week with Dakota Kai and Io Sky against Alexa Bliss and Asuka. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move right along, Florio.
And then our next match of the night, it was The Miz and Ciampa teaming up against, here's a randomly thrown together tag team, but a fun one, albeit, Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. Now you're thinking, not much of a match here. No. Yes, The Miz and Ciampa won the match, but they did so in 9.5 minutes. They got 9.5 minutes. But MF, the only thing I got to say is, did you see what Ciampa did to Ali at the end of that match? Wow.
That
was... The three of us would have yelled out, "Whoa," in stereo on commentary.
Yeah. There was a move called the fairy tale ending. That fairy tale ending turned into a freaking nightmare for Mustafa Ali. Good freaking Lord. That finish. Solid match. I gotta say, a lot of people are praising The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa for their tag team work. They really feel like there might be something here. You might not want to split these 2 up just yet, guys. Who knows? If you give them the right time or give them the right work and the right opportunity, they actually could be a legit threat for the undisputed tag team titles. They would be a tag team you might want to have as a possible team to fight for those belts. So, yeah, this was really good. I thought they did a really good job with this. This was an amazing match. And the only rating I can give is another 3 to 3.5. So, Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, I mean, this was another solid match here. I mean, I'll give this about maybe 3 stars, maybe teetering on 3.25 for this. I mean, yeah, I mean, this was an interesting match, and yeah, I mean, oh man, that thing that Ciampa did to Ali, oof, that was sick there, and yeah, I mean, if they can do this, I think maybe Miz and Ciampa could challenge for the tag team titles somewhere down the line. So we'll wait and see how it goes. So 3.25. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, I mean, this originally was going to be the talk of this before a certain segment, which we'll get into. It's yours, Florio.
Yes, indeed. Wow. This match was fun from start to finish and easily gave us the best combo performance from Ciampa and The Miz to date. Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander should remain a team to give the tag division some depth. But having The Miz and Ciampa win here felt like the right call. 3.25, teetering on 3.5. Even if being paired with The Miz feels wrong to some fans, including myself, Ciampa is doing his best to make this partnership work. And their pre-match promo was good. Ali and Alexander have clearly put some thought into their double team moves. The way Ciampa tripped Alexander in the middle of a handspring was awesome. And Ali sent Ciampa over the announce table with an awesome tope suicida. And yes, Bullock and I, when we saw that move that Ciampa did, as Ali was going for that 054, oh, yeah. I was laughing like a hyena. I was going nuts. That was until what we had next. Gentlemen, here we go. I've been chomping at the bits for this one. And it's, like I said, normally we usually don't get excited about a promo segment. But in this case, this is one promo segment that damn sure needs to be addressed. Drew McIntyre cutting a promo at first on Roman and the whole nine, and then he gets interrupted by Kevin Owens. And then, whoa. Kevin Owens, with the fire and the intensity that we've always known from him, but Drew McIntyre. When he said, hey, they called me the chosen one 15 years ago when I was fired. And then I had to work my way back up. I didn't call WWE, they called me. And I worked my ass off for all that time. I'm a 2-time champion. I've beaten Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Randy Orton, and everybody else in my path. Don't you dare look me in the eye and pull that BS again. Whew. Michael Bullock, it's only fitting we start this with you because, I mean... But this is a 2-for-1 because it led into a match with Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens. Drew McIntyre wins the match via disqualification in roughly 16 minutes. Michael Bullock, I mean, that promo segment. Whoa. Oh my goodness. We're still going nuts over that.
Oh my goodness. I still can't get over this that segment. I mean, holy freaking moly, man. I mean,
and tell our viewers what you thought of that segment.
I mean, when it comes to this segment, this to me was the professional wrestling segment of the year.
Hear, hear.
I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I mean, first you see Drew McIntyre, basically, he called out Roman Reigns, and basically, it's almost like he's trying to say, like, that he's Brock Lesnar 2.0, because he's becoming one of those, like a part-time champion, and that shows up when he wants to. But then Kevin Owens saying, that what you're doing is it's more entertainment, and that it was in this very building, me and Sami Zayn at Battleground had one of the great matches in this building, and you saw that fire come out, but oh boy, KO. And Florio, what's the old saying? What do you do? And that's don't poke what?
Don't poke the bear.
And boy, oh boy, Kevin Owens, you poked the bear in a huge way. I mean, like you said, Florio, with that saying that, you know what? I was the chosen one 15 years ago. Then I got fired. Then I got to work my ass off, earn my way back to this company. And WWE didn't, and I didn't call WWE. They called me, and I worked my ass off every day since I've been a 2-time champion. I beat Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Randy Orton, and that stood in my path. So don't you dare look at me in the eye and pull up that BS again. And
Yowza.
oh my God.
Yowza,
I mean, if
yowza.
I'm gonna say this, and Florio, you heard me on this one. If he went full out and said bullshit, I would have pulled an MF and said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
I am not believing this night.
I mean, and then Drew McIntyre was basically saying, you know what? How about we fight? And then this match, I mean, oh man, I mean, this was on the verge of being a 5-star classic because that's how good this damn match was. But I can only give it 4.5. It's because of those damn Usos who had to go and ruin it. And this is one time I am not okay with a DQ finish. There were some times with other matches we're okay with it because of storyline progression. But after the segment and this match we got, part of me was like, just let these two guys go at it. But Florio, you know who probably had their fingerprints on this finish.
Blubber Love.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let these two go at it. And, I mean, it was still a damn good match, but this was on the verge of a 5-star classic, and you had to pull this BS. These people.
What if it wasn't Blubber Love? What if this was from Trips and the Guys? What if they actually
Protection.
exactly?
That's
I think that's what it was. They wanted it to protect the finish. They did not want to hurt Owens or McIntyre in this instance. This is actually one of those where, yes, and we have every right to be angry, but it took me a little bit of some time to think about it too. And I'm like, wait a minute. They had a damn near 5-star. They both looked amazing. Neither man actually loses any momentum off this. As much as I may want to yell and scream and say, "Oh, Hunter, what are you doing? That's kind of your first mistake you just made on the main roster." But I actually kind of understand why they did it. It's kind of one of those where, damn if you are, damn if you're not. I kind of don't have a feeling that Bruce Pritchard had anything to do with this. Remember, he got demoted. He's not even responsible for this anymore.
I'll just say this, Fletch. I mean, and hear me out. I mean, professionally, you could say that this was the right move, but personally,
oh no, I agree with you. Personally, absolutely. We wanted it when you have that kind of a match, that kind of a battle, and a match that was so amazing behind one of the best promo segments of the year on Monday Night Raw, absolutely you would like to see an outcome. But here's the thing, I get it. They want to book Kevin Owens as a monster heel. They want to book Drew McIntyre as the face of the WWE. He probably is going to be the one to unseat Roman Reigns. But the thing is that when you got two really good guys exploding at their peak, a loss like that could hurt one of these two men. So, as much as I hate it, I'm actually on the side of Triple H with the ending and with the finish.
And that's why I'm saying now, Fletch, that's why I'm 50-50 on this one.
You have every right to be 50-50 on it, and you have every right, because honestly, where you were going, Michael Bullock, I do not blame you. I know where you were going. You were going to flip out thinking that this was Bruce Pritchard's idea for
it was Florio who originally said it when we talked about it.
Yeah,
so,
then you know what? Then Florio's got every right to say that. Because if you're stepping from the outside looking in, if you're thinking about it at that point, that moment, you're thinking, oh man, that must have been someone from the old regime to screw it up like that. And I would not have any problem with it. And I was thinking the same way like you two were thinking when the match happened. But then I had a little bit of some time to cool off. and think about it. And I'm like, you know what? If this is from Trips and the guys,
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they did that kind of finish. Remember, there's been some sketchy finishes in NXT when they were
Mm-hmm.
running the black and gold brand, and there were moments where we wanted Triple H's head, we wanted Shawn Michaels' head, we wanted Road Dogg's head on a freaking silver platter. And I get it. So if you
Yeah.
want their heads, I say have at it, Hoss, because I would have been right there with you in that freaking rabbit hole, ready to, or that foxhole, ready to be swinging, saying, "What the hell were you three thinking for a finish like that? 5-star tonight." I totally would have been with you on that.
Yeah. So all in all, I mean, like I said, professionally, this was the right call, and obviously to protect both of these men. But personally, I wanted to see them go the distance. I wanted to see this to be a 5-star classic. So basically, I'm just 50-50 on it, and man, it was still a damn good match. It was the fight of the night, hands down. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Oh my. MF, you should have heard Bullock and I during our Raw chat on that. Oh my goodness. I mean, that segment. Woof. Michael Bullock is absolutely correct. This was the segment of the year and the segment of the night. Drew McIntyre used the words wrestle, wrestlers, and wrestling in the same sentence. If you ever needed a sign that Vince McMahon is gone, this was it. The pre-match verbal exchange immediately made Kevin Owens feel important again. Both men were excellent in this segment, and Drew McIntyre had more fire behind his words than he has in a long time. As for the match, there's no question about it. As the match progressed, both men began to incorporate more power moves. While KO was definitely playing the heel, he didn't do a ton of rule breaking. It was more about proving he was tougher than McIntyre than proving he is smarter. And while KO certainly got in a lot of offense, it felt like this was more about making McIntyre look like someone who was resilient enough to beat Roman Reigns. And whenever it looked like Kevin Owens was in control, McIntyre would find a way to take over. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome," as KO tried to figure out how to put the Scottish Warrior away. They hit each other with their biggest shots before the Usos ruined the match with the DQ finish. And while the DQ finish is something that most fans, including Michael Bullock, will hate, it felt like the right call here. I mean, if WWE wants both of these men to be top stars moving forward, having either of them lose clean would have been a mistake. This is one instance, like it or not, Bullock, when a disqualification was actually the right call. But aside from that, this match was fun, and the post-match stuff made McIntyre look like a beast after he took a Stone Cold Stunner and still managed to take out both Usos. Excellent booking from top to bottom. Owens hitting a textbook moonsault from the second rope will always be entertaining. And, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it was a Be a Man fight. It was a Be a Man segment. And I don't know what else there is for me to say on that. I mean, 4.5 stars. I mean, the match was technically 5, but we're going to bump it down to 4.5 because of the DQ finish. But it was the fight of the night. I'm not going to say by a country mile because we had some other good matches on this show that we're going to get into later on. But for right now, oh my goodness, what a match here. And what a segment. So there isn't much more to say. MF, I mean, I swear, I heard a big old "Let's go" a la Pat McAfee coming from your end.
Yeah, this like I was saying to Michael Bullock, and like I'm saying to you guys, this was without a doubt the segment of the year. This is what we expected the minute we found out that Triple H was going to become the lead creator or the head of creative for WWE. Now do you see the differences in everything? The wrestling matches, the promo segments. It's not scripted anymore. They gave Drew some bullet points. This is what I want you to say. Just go with it. Run with it. Whatever you got, just sell yourself. Owens, make yourself look strong. Make yourself like a main eventer. Make yourself like the Universal Champion that you were just a few years ago when you got the ball and took it and ran with it. Go. And what we saw here tonight was absolute perfection. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best thing that you can do is never overanalyze, never ever give them too much to bog down on. Give us something simple, give us something straight to the point. Give me fire, give me passion, give me everything you got, and make the audience believe you. Every word you say, every little thing, every little nuance, make us believe that you want this bad enough. And that's exactly what we saw in that promo segment. When Drew McIntyre said what he said for the first time ever, and I really mean this, he looked like the chosen one that was 15 years ago by Vince McMahon himself. This was a promo that I remember seeing in ICW when he was the World Heavyweight Champion for that company. And that is why I respect the man. This is something that he never really got a chance to do in Impact Wrestling. I'm sorry, but he really didn't get an opportunity like that. In ICW, he was without a doubt one of the best talkers in the game. And in WWE, there was a few moments you saw flashes of it, but you never really got to see it all. Tonight, you saw the real Drew McIntyre. As far as Kevin Owens goes, that was a Kevin Steen type promo. Without the swearing, without the... because they toned it down. It was still a PG level promo by Owens, but you saw fire, you saw passion, I saw Kevin Steen from Ring of Honor tonight. That is great. That is what we wanted. And then you follow it up with a banger of a match that had hard hitting, be a man, intensity, fire, everything you wanted in a great wrestling match. The fans were eating it up. Did you see the reaction from the crowd with those near falls? That is exactly hook, line, and sinker to what you need and what you believe in wrestling. And that's exactly what we got here tonight. That was a 4.5-star match. Yes, I am angry. I'm not happy that the Usos got involved. I am not happy that the Usos cost us the ending of this match. Even though I get it, I understand why they did it to prolong the storyline for Clash at the Castle. But this is one of the rare times you did not need to go down that route. It was fair, it's fine, but you did not need to go down that route. And for you, for me, for all of the guys, yes, are we not happy with the outcome? Absolutely, we're not happy that that's how the match ended. We were hoping for a clear-cut outcome when you gave us that greatness of over 30 minutes of television, but with the promo and the match itself. But I get it. I understand it. There's really nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Indeed. And we move on from one amazing segment to another. Another promo segment, Seth freaking Rollins in the ring, and was interrupted by Riddle, and they both beat the hell out of each other. They went after each other again. Riddle announced that he was medically cleared, and gentlemen, it is official. Saturday, September 3rd, Cardiff, Wales, Principality Stadium, Clash at the Castle, Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. The match we should have got at SummerSlam, but we didn't. We're getting it here. To no surprise. So I'll say it like this. It was another strong segment. I would say maybe the second best segment of the night here. It was a strong segment with Riddle and Rollins. Riddle still had his stoner charm, but he was more serious and less cartoonish. Hopefully that becomes the norm. It isn't only because of the tone of his feud with Rollins calls for the change. But nonetheless, it's going to happen. Clash at the Castle. And I don't know what else there is to say. Gentlemen, do you have a quick thought? Now that it is official, according to their Instagram account as of half an hour ago, Riddle and Rollins in Cardiff.
It's going to be an incredible match. I'm excited that it's happening. We were hoping for to see at Nissan Stadium. Obviously, they held it back, but now they finally are turning them loose. And if there's any indication, like you said, Florio, this could be a sleeper fight of the night because with the bad blood, with the rivalry, with the hatred that these two men are bringing, man, it's going to be one hell of a match.
Bullock?
Yeah, like you said. I mean, basically, this is going to be a sleeper fight of the night with these two, and the hatred these two have, and this is a match we should have had at SummerSlam, but we're getting it, and yeah, I mean, it adds to what already looks like a pretty good card for Clash at the Castle, with the undisputed Universal Title match, the 6-woman tag, and now, of course, with this.
Don't forget the SmackDown Women's title either with Liv and Shayna.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that looks looking like a pretty damn good card. So hopefully they'll add some more to it. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add to it.
Well, if there was ever a time we needed a cool down, we got one, and then some. Nothing says cool down more like a Veer Mahan delicious squash, and he squashes a ham and egger named Bo Keller. Squashes him in 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'm surprised it wasn't less, but whatevs. So, not much more to say here, but now let's get into this now. The United States Heavyweight Championship matchup. First ever meeting. The almighty Bobby Lashley versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Both men, former United States Heavyweight Champions. Both men, WWE Champions. Both men, Intercontinental Champions. And of course, let's not also forget both men, former TNA Impact Heavyweight Champions. When all was said and done, yes, there were some shenanigans from Ciampa and The Miz, and Dexter Lumis got involved in the commentary near the ringside announce table. But despite all of that, unlike that McIntyre-Owens match with the cheap finish, we got a clean one. Winner of the match in roughly 21 minutes and 40 seconds, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley, with a spear. Whew. What a match. What a match. It's hard to believe, but I mean, you can make an argument, maybe second best fight of the night here. You could probably give this in excess of 4.25 to 4.5 for this. Lashley's match with Ciampa from last week might have been a smidgen more exciting, but not by much. Keyword, smidgen. But this was another fun United States heavyweight title match that allowed the champion to look like one of the top stars on Monday Night Raw. The way WWE has turned both mid-card titles around in just a few weeks has been more than impressive. The Miz and Ciampa came down to watch from ringside, but before The Miz could execute his plan to attack, Dexter Lumis was shown being tackled by security near the ring commercial break, and then everything, and then when we came back from the second break, AJ began to mount some offense. They both hit their signature moves, but Lashley drilled Styles with a spear for the win. Outstanding match. Any complaints you could come up with would be minor and inconsequential to whether it was enjoyable. The sliding knee Styles hit on the apron looked like it caught Lashley a little more than intended, but it didn't slow down the match. The way AJ throws himself into things when opponents Irish whip him always makes it look believable. He doesn't slow down right before he makes impact. And the way they showed Dexter Lumis being tackled on the show cutting the commercial was great. Nobody thinks this is actually Lumis trying to invade WWE, but the presentation has been fantastic so far. Second best fight of the night, 4.25, teetering on 4.5. Incredible match with two incredible performers. NMF, I mean, you and I talked about this Friday night on the Cerebral Smack Talk with Gunther and Shinsuke when they tore the house down for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and they did it again tonight. Intercontinental belt, elevated. U.S. belt, especially with Lashley against Ciampa and AJ these last 2 weeks, U.S. title, elevated.
Elevated. And that's exactly the key word. That is the key word. They were afterthoughts for a number of years, and now they are prestigious, they are honorable, they have life again. And this is absolutely what you needed in WWE. Secondary belts, elevating stars to push them to that main event level, that upper tier. And now we're starting to see guys who are normally main event guys fighting for these belts and making them relevant. That's the thing. Ciampa is a main eventer. Even though he was he was main eventing in NXT, he still is a main event talent. AJ Styles, his body of work, forget it. It's his credentials is legendary. Bobby Lashley, his credentials are legendary. There's nothing more to say. You could say vice versa on Friday night when we had Nakamura versus Gunther. Those two guys elevated themselves because they are world-renowned stars, especially Gunther. He is, even though he's not getting the same love or credibility in the United States, trust me, when you go out into Europe, England, Germany, Austria, Italy, Portugal, the ICW where they're in Scotland or Ireland, Gunther or Walter is a world-renowned talent and is one of the best in the world. Nakamura, he's a legend in Japan, a god in Japan. And yes, forgive me for saying that because I know a few people think, about that kind of language I just used, but I apologize in advance. But I gotta say it. He's an icon, a legend. If you see his body of work, especially in New Japan, you'll know why he is one of the greatest. That when he was named King of Strong Style, that is exactly what he is. So yeah, this was an amazing match. 4.5 is my rating for it. Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, you're on mute again.
Oh, for some reason that happened. I don't know why, but yeah. This was another fun match here. Like you said, 4.25 to 4.5. I mean, like you said, that U.S. title has been elevated thanks to this new creative team. The Intercontinental title elevated. So, yeah, the champ remains the champ. I mean, but still, it was a fun match here, hands down. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to this. So, let's move on, Florio.
Yeah, we had another cutout match. We had Dana Brooks squaring off against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai wins a minute 50. So we're gonna bypass that. We're not gonna waste any time on that, and we're gonna get into what was for the second week in a row a surprise main event, where I felt like last week the U.S. title should have main evented. This week the U.S. title damn sure should have main evented because of because of the talents involved. But nonetheless, it was Theory versus Dolph Ziggler in the main event, and Theory wins the match 16 minutes and 15 seconds. MF, another quality match on this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. Theory and Ziggler getting the main event nod. What a nod for them.
They get the main event nod, but here's the thing, guys. Where we thought that Theory was going to be buried because of the fact that he no longer has Vince McMahon, guess what, guys? Triple H and the boys are still riding Theory. They're still holding on to him, and they're giving him a significant win in the light of everything. He's been very quiet since the Money in the Bank, since the failed Money in the Bank cash in or attempt of a cash in at SummerSlam, but they're quietly working him into a program. So that means one thing: they are not giving up on Theory. They're not. They're not gonna give us a go away type thing. We're gonna have to keep a closer eye on Theory now, because at any point he could cash in the Money in the Bank. And now, because he hasn't been thought of, this is actually more dangerous now, because we're not thinking of Theory. Even though at the first point when at SummerSlam we're thinking, oh, he's probably going to cash it in at any point. Have we even talked about Theory since that event? No. And as a matter of fact, this was his first time back since, and all of a sudden, big win over Ziggler. There has to be at least a thought or something to think about that maybe he does try to cash in now. Who knows? We'll see. But solid main event, 3 stars, bullet go.
Yeah, this was a solid main event here, so I'll give this about maybe I'll give this about 3.25. I mean, a sleeper fight of the night contender here. I mean, I really wasn't expecting much out of it, but these two put on a solid main event here. So, yeah, there's nothing more to add to it. So, I'm just gonna give it to you, Florio.
With all due respect, gentlemen, I think you both underscored this match. I think you did.
Actually, I think I did too. I'm actually gonna give it maybe 3.5.
That's good, but I was thinking more 4, maybe 4.25 for this, because this bout was fast paced and hard hitting. Both men looked like they took being in the main event seriously, and put in a great effort to make this exciting for everyone. This was one of the best matches, whether you like the man or not. This was one of the best matches Theory has had in WWE. Both men did a great job making this fun and unpredictable. The way Theory leveled Ziggler with a hard punch looked awesome. We're still waiting to find out what Robert Roode has been up to recently. The spot when Ziggler ran up to the top turnbuckle for a facebuster almost ended badly, but they saved it for the most part. And the way Ziggler hits the ring post when someone throws him into it always looks nuts. This to me was the third best fight of the night. I'm going to give this 4 to 4.25 stars. And with that, let's get into our overall review. Michael Bullock, I mean, what else can you say except 3 quality matches, but of course, we're all going to be talking about, and we're all going to remember on this Monday Night Raw tonight from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., the home of the Capitals and the Wizards. The one thing we're all going to talk about tonight, that promo segment with Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, especially Drew McIntyre.
Oh yeah, I mean that promo is definitely going to be talked about for a long time after what we saw. I mean, with what these two delivered tonight. So, as far as my rating for this edition of Raw, I can't believe I'm going to be saying this. I'm going to say it's a 9 to 9.5 for me. I mean, when you have this along with along when you have all these matches that were solid to good to freaking great. I mean, yeah, you did have a couple of short matches, but I'm not gonna like poo-poo that much. I mean, because as long as you limit the short matches, I'm actually okay with it. So yeah, so that's just how I feel about it. So it's a 9 to 9.5 for me. So it's yours, Florio.
A slight overscore, but not too much. I'll meet you in the middle there, Bullock. I'm going to give it 8.5 to 9 for this. 3 weeks in a row. For 3 straight weeks, WWE has produced exciting and entertaining shows. Let's hope this trend continues. Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, their segment and the match. Go out of your way to see both, especially the promo segment. You're going to be blown away by how unbelievable that was. Lashley and Styles lived up to the hype, no doubt about it. And my only gripe was that they were not the main event, but it is what it is. Theory and Ziggler, I didn't really have high hopes for that match, to be honest with you, but they surprised the hell out of me, and they gave us the sleeper fight of the night, as far as I'm concerned. So those are the 3 top matches. You also had the tag team tournament match was solid as well. That was a solid effort. 3 pay-per-view quality matches, a solid women's tag title match, a promo segment we're going to be talking about for years to come, and then a couple of other good promo segments here and there. Only 2 cutouts, only 2 dud matches, but other than that, you can't really complain about anything else. 8.5 to 9 out of 10. That is, I believe, is the correct rating for this. 3 for 3 under the new regime. And all I can say is, let's keep this thing going. So, not much more to say. 8.5 to 9. MF, take it home, and then I'll get into my special Tony's take.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say it. 9 out of 10 is my rating. This was an incredible Raw. There was hardly anything wrong with this show. And I know Triple H has made it abundantly clear he's not really a big fan of the 3-hour format. Well, I'll say this. You just put a hell of a 3-hour show. Probably one of the best 3-hour shows of the year. And that's amazing. The line is in the sand. And I'm going to say this. Good luck to any organization, any company to try to top this one for show of the week. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I know SmackDown, they got some good stuff coming up. We also got a semifinal. We're going to start with the final quarterfinal matchup in the tag team tournament, the women's tag team tournament. And then we have ourselves possibly a banger of a face-to-face between Roman and Drew. And you thought Drew and Owens was great. Imagine what they could do with Drew and Roman. I mean, we might be salivating and we might be losing our heads all over again on Friday night, but we'll wait and see. So yeah, hell of a way to close the show. 9 out of 10. Florio, go ahead. Tony's take is yours.
A special Tony's take this time around, and here we go. It was Emergence, the Impact Plus special that went down this past Friday night from the Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois, and here we go. We started it. Well, we actually had 2 matches on the pre-show, and on that pre-show, 2 matches, but both of them were championship matches. First up, it was Brian Myers defending the Impact Digital Media Championship against Bhupinder Gujar. Brian Myers wins that and successfully defends the title 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Next up, we had the Knockouts Tag Team Championships on the line. The champions, Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary, squaring off against Vexed, Chelsea Green, and Deonna Purrazzo. Winners of the match in an even 8 minutes. And new Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo, Vexed. They win the titles. And that was it for the pre-show. So all right, so now let's get on to the main card. We started it off with the X Division Championship match. The champion, Speedball Mike Bailey, defending against Jack Evans. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 38 seconds, and still the Impact X Division champion, Speedball Mike Bailey. 3-star match. What did I have here? Yeah, it was a 3-star match. Decent opener, but they did have some chemistry issues, which is understandable given it was their first match together. In Impact, Evans looked a little lost in a few spots, and his offense was a bit slow. End of the match was a little messy, but Bailey predictably picked up the win with the Ultimate Weapon. And after wrestling a few ring-ins over the last few weeks, I'm looking forward to Bailey being able to sink his teeth into a lengthy feud soon. Tag team action, Eric Young and Dina of Violent by Design squaring off against Chris Sabin and Kushida. Violent by Design wins the match, 12 minutes and 42 seconds. And I'm actually going to give this 3.5 stars. Right decision to go with VBD for the win as they need the momentum, and Sabin and Kushida aren't going to be a regular tag team. Fast-paced tag match that never really took a breath the entire time, so I'll give it that. So 3.5 stars. Then we had Bandito squaring off against Rey Horus. Bandito wins the match, 12 minutes and 56 seconds. In a AAA special attraction match. 3 3/4 star. Really fun match that showcased both men's athletic ability. I was impressed that Bandito was able to mix it up between some power moves and then impressive kicks and diving offense. Crowd didn't mind that there was no story to this matchup, as both combatants had the crowd engaged from the opening bell. So, 3 3/4 star. Then it was a no disqualification match, Sami Callihan versus Steve Maclin. Sami Callihan wins in 11 minutes and 21 seconds. It was hard to rate as a whole, but 3 3/4 is the correct rating for this. It was a really entertaining fight with a really personal feel to it, and both men brought their nasty side to the match. This was the Be a Man fight on this show, so not much more to say there. Then we had the big 10-man tag team match, also under no disqualification rules. Honor No More, Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, and Vincent, with Maria Kanellis in their corner, squaring off against the 5 members of the Bullet Club, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, the tag team champions, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, and Hikuleo. Honor No More wins, they get a World Tag Team title shot. Bullet Club wins, Honor No More has to disband. Winners of the match in 15 minutes and 48 seconds. Honor No More. Honor No More is going to stay around, and they're going to get a World Tag Team title shot. Another 3 3/4 star match. Another match that was hard to rate because there was so much going on. But again, it was an enjoyable brawl which featured a few big spots that the crowd loved. I could have gone for it, but the finish didn't really match the brutality of the rest of the match. It continues the theme of the night, which certainly seemed to be all about entertaining the fans. Good stuff. 3 3/4. Knockouts Championship on the line. Jordan Grace defending against Mia Yim. Winner of the match in 13 minutes and 25 seconds, and still the Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace. 4-star match. To that point, it was the fight of the night. Very well done. This was a terrific match. Everything was so smooth and the counter wrestling was spot on. They matched up so well against each other. And I would argue it may have been it was almost the best women's match of the year so far that I've seen. And the Knockouts division in Impact is on fire at this time. Main event of the evening for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, squaring off against a man who, after almost 20 years with the company, finally getting his very first title shot. One half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, winner of the match in 27 minutes and 29 seconds, and still the World Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander. 4 1/4 stars. Terrific wrestling match that had a little bit of everything. Submissions, counter wrestling, some high-flying moves, and plenty of tension. Alexander had to pull out all the stops to finally put Shelley away, and that puts over Shelley as a tough combatant in defeat. The last 10 minutes was a clinic. Shelley was close to winning on half a dozen occasions. Alexander retaining is more than fine with me, and I'm happy for Alex Shelley that he at least got his title match, and he damn sure made the most of it. 7.5 out of 10. It was a great wrestling show, and nothing average or below par. And the opening match between Bayley and Evans had some chemistry issues, but they overcame it to have a fine match. Some more brawling style matches in Callahan-Macklin and the 10-man tag. Callahan-Macklin was unique in the fact that they didn't start the match officially until they came back from brawling in the crowd. When they made it official, it ended up being a brutal weapons match where Callahan won it. The Knockouts, Mia Yim, Jordan Grace, impressive bout for the Knockouts title. They matched up really well against each other, and everything flowed so smoothly. Very much enjoyed that match. The main event lived up to my expectations. That's a terrific matchup between two of Impact's top stars. Shelley, more of a tag team guy, certainly showed he's capable of holding his own in singles bouts. And Josh Alexander continues to perform at a really high standard. He has also developed from a tag team wrestler into a tough babyface champion who consistently has great to excellent wrestling matches. He has really improved his selling, and this was a focal point throughout the bout, as it really put over Shelley as a threat. With the targeting of the left arm of Alexander, if you only have a limited amount of time, I would recommend watching the final 2 matches. Although you can make an argument for everything. But the final 2 matches, the Knockouts title and the World Heavyweight title, go out of your way to see both of those. 7.5 out of 10. And that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, over on MF's channel, Racefan 95, for another edition of Wednesday Night Madness, as we will review NXT Heatwave. That goes down tomorrow night, as well as AEW Dynamite. Thursday, we got TXN Sports World, our penultimate TXN Sports World before our finale next week. We got a lot of things to get into on that show. And we'll address that. I'll address that on Wednesday at the end of the show. And then Friday, of course, Cerebral Smack Talk, MF, with Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage, 11 p.m. on that. And then right back here next week for another edition of Ridiculously Raw as we get closer to Clash at the Castle. So that's it. So until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Madness, over on MF channel, Racefan 95, Anthony Floyo here, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and always and forever the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up, talk to you later, yeah. Go to Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless, be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. Remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you and beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Floyo, so long. Bye, everybody, bye.